Hello, everyone, and welcome to Galactic Gab. I'm Tanys Coughlan from the Twila Lifestyle Community, Twila Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by these two beautiful ladies, Dr. Lisa Thompson and Jennifer Jurkofsky.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How's it going, ladies?
It's going well.
Yeah, I'll just start off.
Yeah.
Congratulations, we have another best-selling author in the house.
Thank you.
Absolutely. With our story.
Mm-hmm.
So exciting.
Yeah, that is absolutely exciting. I'm blown away by the support, but also just hearing the feedback from people who have read it and how much it has kind of opened things, awoken different memories within them, really helped in their own journeys. And I'm just honored to be a part of that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, can you give us a couple of examples of what people shared?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we've talked before about how this book has been a remembrance in many ways. And so quite a bit of the feedback that I've received, whether it be in a review or just through people reaching out to me, have said that it really did open them to their own galactic history, or if they were already open to it, it deepened their experience with it because it allowed them to step into different things or just open to the energy of that time period. And that alone, being a part of that energy, I wrote on the website too, it's this DNA activation. It's like you're going through it and there are these kind of like codes within the writing, the way that they gave the message through, that it's just opening things
Mm-hmm.
for people. And that's, I find that just to be beautiful.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it certainly did that with me. It opened up a whole bunch of other memories about that lifetime for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And the amazing people that have come through. It's amazing that all of us have reconnected. I mean, I know we say that frequently on here, but it is amazing that we've all reconnected in the way that we have in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So this is a book about a lot of our friends. Let's just say that, because a lot of people are now reconnected, right?
Yeah.
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 Well, and I mean, really that time period, because Orion constellation is so vast, our galaxy is so vast, and we have 8 billion people here on Earth. I would say likely, I won't say 100%, but I'm going to say the majority of Earth humans lived through that time period, which is why they're back here again to experience this polar. Yeah, right?
Yep.
This polar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting, and I'm going to jump right into this, if that's okay, because Jen, you had a review that the woman who did the review, it's like she has a different perception or reality of who the Lyrans are and what their experiences were compared to you. And if you think about, again, 8 billion people here on Earth, we all have different perceptions of reality and what is going on.
Even in this lifetime.
Yes. And so for those reading it, that might be like, well, that's not what I remember, how I remember it, or how I experienced it. Their perception is valid for them.
Yeah.
And so it's just really interesting because people think that, and I'm not going to say everyone thinks this, again, no 100%, but it's very common for us humans to think, well, whatever it is I'm thinking, it's the correct way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But
well, and I think that's, I mean, I wrote it right in the I think it's in the prologue of the book. This is my experience.
Right.
And then I'm hoping that through my experience, you awaken to your experience. whatever that might be, right?
Yeah.
It's not about, here is the definitive, this is the absolute. This is my experience of it. And depending on if you were in the same timeline as me as we went through it, if you were in right? Like, who knows? But if it awakens anything within you, then it's done what it's meant to do.
That's
Even if what it awakens is, that's not what I remember. Great. You remember something. That's the point.
It is. Yeah, for sure. I mean, just like I always use this as an example, right? My perception is very colored. What's your perception? It's purple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my perception is very colored, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yours is purple. It's the same object.
Yeah.
Right? It's just how the angle that we're looking at it at. And it's the same with timelines and stuff, right? We're just looking at from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and we were talking about timelines, and we were sharing how we were sharing our story with somebody, just our this life 3D story of how we met, and we actually have different memories of the timeline.
Yeah.
And so it's really neat because at some point our timeline as we see it now came together, but we have a different memory of when things progressed in the other timelines. And what's absolutely fascinating, and Tanys and I were sharing this, is we don't actually remember when we finally said, okay, that's it, we're friends. Like, we just went from this date to this date to this. Oh, we're just always together. Like, we don't whatever happened in that in between, neither of us were in this timeline for it because we don't remember.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's the beauty of timeline shifting. We're all shifting timelines all the time, like
all the time,
just by whatever choice we're making, right? And
that's
that
right.
creates a different so-called linear past.
Yeah.
Which, the time is irrelevant, but we perceive time in this reality.
Because we're human and it's a human construct and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if my memory serves me right, another best-selling book on this whole shifting timelines thing is also available.
Awakening.
I'm sitting between two best-selling authors here. I'm just saying.
It's your turn, Tanys.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Do we want to say hello to a few people?
Absolutely.
Because we have some of the best chatters. We have Fogo Pogo here. Hello, hello.
Hello.
And we have Living in Radiance. Hello, Catherine. Welcome.
Hello.
And she says, congratulations, Jan.
Thank you.
And we have Nalani.
Hello, hello.
And we have Nalani in here as well. Hello, hello. 2 different platforms. And then we have Edward Kenneth. Hello,
Hello, hello.
welcome. We have Lauren. Welcome.
Hey, Lauren.
And oh, we have Scott Smith. Hey, Scott.
Scott.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, the timeline thing, because we can have these different memories of this lifetime or of other lifetimes.
Yeah.
And yet still be very connected from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's a couple comments there. And Kaylee Fogo Pogo says, and the way Lyrans are on one planet may even be different to another. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, so different so that on my planet, the Lyrans were the cat-like beings. Not to say that we weren't on other planets as well, but on the avian planets, they're bird-like beings.
Right.
Yeah.
Some are human like us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same with the Pleiadians, because there are some that are very blue, and then there's others that are like the Nordics, and they're very pale skinned, blonde hair, So it's the same. Is it the same with the Arcturians?
Actually, no. Arcturians are a little more homogenous.
Yeah.
Although, well, no, that's not true. There are different races of Arcturians, but I'm the most familiar with my people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Kaylee says, no different than on Earth when countries are doing things differently.
Absolutely.
This is true.
Absolutely. And then I even talk about it in the book when I talk about the diaspora, when we were kind of scattered, and how even then everybody changed because we were adapting to different planets with different resources and everything else, and that impacts how our physicality, right? Because we adapt.
Adaptability.
Yes.
That's the card I pulled.
Yes.
Perfect. Yep. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to read that for us?
Yeah, I will. And okay, so it's one of the reptilian cards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with our reptilian energy, you have the ability to adapt very quickly to new situations in a beautiful way easily. It does not have to be challenging. It just naturally happens. It's who you are. It's how you were made to operate. A chameleon has the ability to change its coloration based on environment. Earth-based reptiles are able to change their temperature naturally without even trying. You now, with this reptilian energy, have the ability to adapt in your life in the way that you want to, going with the flow rather than fighting against the current. You can pull this energy in as an idea, a concept, a reality, because it is part of who you are. You have this reptilian DNA inside of you. It's now activated. Your body has the ability to respond beautifully to your environment. It is up to you to put yourself into or create the environment that supports you for your highest and greatest good. And then the affirmation, I adapt easily to my environment. But what I will say as a former zoologist, marine biologist, is that yes, when animals are put into new environments or humans are put into new environments, just like you were saying, whatever the resources are that are available can dramatically modify, like in case of skin color, having paler skin, shifting to blue because of whatever those minerals are. But even the form can start to change. The anatomy changes as the physiology changes.
Yeah, cool. Animals are pretty cool.
They are.
Well, living beings are pretty cool.
I was going to say, because it's not just, I mean, we do it all the time, although we're technically animals too, but like plants will do it too.
They will,
They will adapt and they will go, I mean, you see, things that the image that's coming into my mind is like a tree that's down and the roots are still like finding a way to grow like over rocks or over, various terrains.
Oh. Okay. Well, this is interesting.
I just saw that.
Is that the case, do you think?
No, I don't think so. Because, okay, so my question to you is, are you afraid of all reptiles and amphibians? Or just certain ones, like snakes? Or just curious, like if there's specific types or if it's just across the board, all reptiles and amphibians. And one of the things that my guides, my team / me, what comes through is that it's time for us to clear out our fear of other things, like things that are different than us, so that we can let go of that judgment. And then when we do that, then when we do have open contact, we are going to be able to meet these other beings that look completely different from us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that is one of the main goals of the hybrid program, right? Is to have beings that are more like us. One of the goals. I mean, there's other goals of different parts of it, but one of the sections is about having beings that are similar to us, that have some Earth human DNA in order to look similar to help ease the transition. So,
yeah. But I also think that it is possible that we have memory of, like, I can speak to, you know, even just in the book where I talk about that fear that was there because of the history of it. And so I think that there is a possibility that we have that within us, where we have a remembering of something and that causes us to have an underlying fear. But it's really interesting how that fear showed up for me, because it was different than kind of the fears that we have right now. There was this apprehension, this kind of unknowing, but also it wasn't that dread, I guess, that you could say that would come up. Because I think part of it is knowing that I had gone through that experience. I also know that I had encountered draconians that were not the same as the rest of the race. And yeah, like, and so there is that piece where, you know, we don't come in with only our wounding. We come in with our healing as well. And so we have to remember that that's all part of what we have access to. And so we don't want to just, I mean, it's the same with like life situations. We don't want to just stay in the trauma. We want to be able to move into that place where we came through it, because that's where our healing can happen. And it's very much the same in this as well.
Yeah. And calling upon the healing stuff that we used to know, it seems to come back, right? It comes back to us if we call upon it. We're aware of it and we call it in. Because I know all of us have used healing stuff from that lifetime and others in different ways, right, in our practices. So,
well, and what I will say, and take this or leave it, but we all have reptilian DNA in us. 100% of humans have reptilian DNA. So
welcome, guys. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I think it's about percentages, though, right? Like the amount.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, there are different races of reptilians. This comes up in my UFO tours all the time, because people always want to lump the grays or the reptilians just into one big group. And you can't do that. No. They come just like you can't lump all the Lyrans into one group. Like you said earlier, they come in different forms. They come from different star systems. They operate in different vibrational frequency.
Absolutely. I mean, we all come from that source energy, right? But the way that we've experienced and the different things that have happened because of the paths that we've chosen to have as experience moving forward, right, have guided us in a million different ways. And I think I've said this before, but I remember wanting even to have a lifetime as a draconian, because I wanted to be able to see all the different sides of what it was to have that experience, you know. And I remember coming in as that energy ready to take form and thinking about what that was going to be like. And so I do recognize that, you know, we come here for the sake of experience.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And so of course we need to have different experiences. If we all had the same experience, it wouldn't be worth it. We
wouldn't learn anything. We wouldn't learn anything, right?
Well, and just like in this Earth life, you know, we play all those different roles for each other in different parallel lives as well. So, you know, this life, perhaps I'm the victim to my first husband, but maybe in a different life, I was the tyrant.
Yeah. Right? I do believe that we play both roles, you know, because we have to understand what it's like to be all aspects. So we end up with those experiences to have that understanding. So it helps our soul to evolve.
Absolutely. And that comes back to that adaptability piece.
It does.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we, have all of these different, we say DNA, but like these essences within us, because they bring all of these different energies that we are able to tap into and access. And that allows us to be adaptable and to shift and to change depending on what our circumstances are calling for us to be in any given moment.
Yeah, we just had an enlightenment evening this past Monday, and we talked about all of those, the archetypal energies. Well, the main ones that most people talk about. We talked about that and how calling upon those when it's necessary. And we did like a bit of a checklist of which ones do I have most of? And, people found they could be quite even for a whole number of them, because we take on the characteristics of these things as we go through life, depending on what we're needing to see. Right? Oh, there you go. Edward Kenneth subscribed. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
To Dr. Lisa.
Very cool.
Very nice. Yeah. She's thinking of the poet speaking of the deeper your sorrow, the greater your joys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we need both ends of the spectrum to have an appreciation of the spectrum.
Yeah. Well, and remember too, it's just our mind that says that one is good and one is bad.
This is true.
Because from the higher perspective,
it's all just is.
Absolutely.
It just is.
Just is.
Yeah. Very cool.
I've had conversations with people about that who are very much adamant that, oh no, I'm going to put some judgment on this is good and this is bad. And, as we are ascending and raising our frequency, then in that fifth dimension and higher, polarity ceases to exist. We just allow.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you don't ever feel the denser stuff. You feel it, but the way that you experience it changes.
Yeah. Hypnicity. So Nalani says, true, I'm thinking differently recently. It just is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I say it often, but I love the quote from Shakespeare. Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Right? Our mind makes all the decisions about whether it's good or bad, if we like it, if we don't, if it's something we want to have more experience of or less experience of. And it likes to judge, and it likes to label, and it likes to put things in pretty little boxes. And then when things don't fit in those boxes, it gets very uncomfortable. And then it judges that and it labels that.
Yeah.
And away we go.
Well, and Edward says, it's a little sad that I may put someone through some of the same heartache I worked through in this lifetime. But it was a gift that you worked through it in this lifetime. And so by you putting that person through, they're having the gift of that experience. And so it depends on how you look at that.
Yeah. Everything is a contract agreement too. Playing roles for each other.
Yep.
Yeah. And sometimes we get to play the bad guy. The bad guy.
Yep. Yep. Right. It happens. I've done it.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things. Like I think that sometimes people will put us in those roles, even if we haven't done anything. It's just that we're going to end up in that role. And for us to fight against that or try to prove something different, it doesn't generally serve anything anyway. So to be able to just go, okay,
this is what I'm doing.
I don't need to own being that. You just have the experience that you need to go through that has me in that role.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to connect to it. I don't have to take that on.
Now, having said that, we're not going to go out and willy-nilly do things like without compassion and love for each other. But, but if it happens,
sometimes we get put in the role of bad guy for somebody and we haven't actually done anything.
Yeah.
And that
brings us back to our perception thing, right?
Exactly. And so this is what I mean when I say, like, it's okay to just let that be what it is. Mm-hmm. If it's something that we can work on and resolve, by all means, that's great. But if it's not, we don't have to then beat ourselves up about it at the same time, right? Is there something that I need to learn from? Is there something that I need within my awareness so that I can grow through this experience? And if I've got that, great. And if there isn't anything, then should there be something, awaken me to it. Otherwise, help me to be able to move on from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that this one here, though, we are teachers and students.
Yes.
Yeah. Edward agrees with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even teaching, like when I'm doing classes, teaching classes and stuff, I still learn from my students every day. And like, that's our whole job here, is to learn and to show each other. So it's a big lifelong job.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is.
And of course, the adaptability comes into that because we are learning, we adapt. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, when I put my finger on the stove, it hurts. We're going to adapt to that and maybe not do that again.
Not anymore. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet. Some of my best lessons came from kindergarten students.
Awesome.
I love those things when they show you, what children think or how they think, and or, out of the mouth of babes, they come out with the amazing things.
Yeah.
And they are adaptable. They're learning all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to read some quotes, Jen, from your book? Or do you want to save that for people when they buy the book?
I could. Is there anything in particular you would want me to read?
Well, you could read maybe one of where Lisa comes in.
Yeah, or just the quote.
Whatever you feel. Yeah, there is a quote by her too in there, right?
No, not by me. Another Arcturian.
Oh, okay.
But,
sure. Let me open it.
It's hot right now.
Huh?
I'm just so hot. I'm just sweating my off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's warm here, but it's not that bad.
It's warm outside here. I'm just in a basement with the air conditioning on and I'm freezing.
So one thing I would love, we started to talk about this before we went live, Jen and I did, because the same woman who has a different perception of Lyran life and also then had an issue with my name Uluru because it's a real place. And so one of the things why I want to address this is because when different people get their own information and they know it to be true, then if someone else disagrees, just being so solid in your knowingness that, and so the example, so back, it was October 2018 when I met myself in that, deep meditation, and the name that was given to me very clearly was Uluru. And I didn't know that it was me at the time, but, and when I got the name Uluru, I did question it because it was something that I knew, but it's like, why I wouldn't just make that up. Like, okay, Uluru, right? Mm-hmm. And then, but here's the interesting thing is that then you, Jen, without ever meeting me, And knowing about Uluru, you wrote about,
Yes,
said that name very clearly.
And I had no idea that that name was anywhere even on the earth. Like I didn't know that.
Right. And so like for me, like I already knew it for myself that was me. Then when you wrote about it, that was like that external validation.
Well, and it wasn't even that piece of writing about it. It was the moment that we met. I'm like, I know you and I know exactly who you are.
Right.
It was, the energy was so clear. And it just, I mean, like, again, full body, like I just, to the depths of who I am, knew you to be the depths of who you are.
Yeah.
And that's
well, and you said it, Jen, you said her name before she told you her name.
Well, I put it in the book, and she told, and then she was like, that's the name I have for myself.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to make sure people understood that piece.
Yeah. Yeah. She did. Yeah. We didn't. I read my name and I'm like, oh, okay. And I got very emotional just because it's like, okay, it's like you, you know me, you see me. And the other thing though, for people who don't know what Uluru is here on Earth, it's formerly called Ayers Rock in Australia. It's right in the middle of the country. It's a very sacred site, healing site, tons of spacecraft activity there. And what's super interesting too, because there's all of these different kind of synchronicities. I was obsessed with Australia my entire life. Like I was born to be obsessed with Australia. And I finally went there after I divorced my second husband. I took myself there for 2 weeks. But, just synchronicities like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who are getting information, remembering things from these parallel lives, trust the information that you're getting. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
Well, and trust it, because to that, like, one, I questioned everything that came through, right? Again, it started as a dream. It's like, okay, I'll write it down. Part of me knew, yes, I was accessing my Akashics, and part of me was like, it's just a dream, Jen. It's just a dream.
Yeah.
And as it unfolded, I would share it with people and they would go, oh, well, did you know this? And I'm like, well, I knew it in my dream, but I didn't know that. And it kept unfolding in that way. And so then, when I finally shared the story with Tanys, is, the first kind of share, and it was like, whoo, yes. Like I feel this, I resonate with it. And then periodically sharing it with different people or meeting different people. And so, when we met and shared, and just that deep connection, to know, Lisa, who you were and who you are. And that for me was probably one of the greatest confirmations in that moment, because we didn't know each other at all until we were brought together for the show. And so, there are these pieces that have unfolded in that way, and going, oh, and then different people get brought in, and it's like, hey, that energy is this. Right. Oh, I know that energy too. Oh, does this? And then it keeps resonating. Whenever I'm, talking to somebody or meeting somebody, and I'm like, you're this energy. And then they read about it and they're like, holy yes, I have that energy.
So when we're talking about noticing people, like people noticing that it's their energy, we're talking about like deep, sorry, there's a thing coming up on the side. We're talking about a deep, like, crying or like really strong goosebumps, or all of those things. Like they just come in a big way when we're when you're in that kind of situation. Like for me, I had stuff happen beforehand that I had visions and stuff of me as an ET, and visions of having the 3 blue fingers and tending plants and all of this stuff. I had no idea what it meant, but I'd seen the visions. And then I had seen myself on this big staircase and everything. I didn't know what it meant. I knew it was heavy, but I didn't know what it meant. And then I read Jen's book, and they were in there. She had seen it all. And so that you just can't make that up. When you have a visceral reaction to it, where it brings you to tears, or you just feel it so physically in your body, that it's deep within the DNA that you're having that remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and Vale Wren, he's in the garage making some glass art right now. And even though he doesn't remember that life, he gets so emotional every time he's read the book.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and this is it, because there's some people that are in it, that are actually in it, but then there's other people who have read it, and even though they may not be specifically named in the book, they go, this energy resonates so deeply that I know I've had an experience around this.
Yeah.
Well, and the Orion War was such a monumental experience that, that part of your book is going to resonate with so many people, even if it wasn't the Lyran experience, the Arcturian experience, or the Pleiadian experience, right? Any of those different cultures that you don't even go to a lot of detail in the book, if they've had an experience, they're going to feel it, right? Because it was such a big, it was a galactic war.
Mm-hmm.
And
so there was many experiences.
For the audience, just in case you're not aware, Star Wars that's the Orion Wars. That's based on real stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it's George Lucas remembering his perception of what was going on during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We need to talk to George Lucas.
Yeah. Well, and he goes into it, right? We talk about the Empire. Yes, we were going against the Draconian Empire and all of their allies. And then the Federation. And yes, we had the Galactic Federation, and that was what was forming. And so it's, absolutely based on all of that history.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, Marianne. Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things too, and I've had, people read it and say, they really wanted to see themselves in a particular character or in something, but they weren't really able to. And I said, just feel into the energy of the time and see what comes.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the beautiful things is in the glossary, I actually go through different roles and things that people had at the time and stuff like that. And so even if you don't necessarily resonate with a particular part within the book, it's very possible that you might get to that and go, oh, that role really resonates for me. And then that might awaken memories of something that you have done in the past. Right. And in the past, in that experience.
Yeah.
Well, and it's quite possible that many people experienced many parallel lives during that time period, because it was such a long time.
That's right.
Right. And different races stay alive for different amounts of time. And so you might have so-called reincarnated multiple times and had many different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you say that. And again, I remember an experience before the war broke out. So there was definitely a lifetime there. Then there was a lifetime that I wrote about during the war. Mm-hmm. There was a lifetime as a Draconian. There was a lifetime as being displaced and living on a different planet, not the Pleiades, but living in Syria, on Sirius B. So I know that there have been multiple lifetimes that I've experienced. And depending on how, again, this is the other thing that I find really, really interesting too, because do believe that we have these kind of like soul families that we travel with and all of that. But I also, and again, this is my take on it, so take it for what you will. But I think that because there are so many different realities, so many parallel realities and all of that, we can have different roles at the exact same time in different places. And so there could also be multiple people who remember being a certain person or character or whatever in history. And there's multiple people who remember it.
Yeah.
Because we have those connections to those energies and they're still a part of who we are. But there's so many variations of it that we can have a ton of people who go, that energy right there, that resonates with me. And it's all true.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Nalani's asking, how did you find these lifetimes? So I'm assuming that's like, how did you become aware?
So that again started with this original dream where I was given access to the Akashic records. And I remember the first dream, this particular lifetime was only one lifetime in a whole stream of different lifetimes. And when I came out of the dream and started to share about it, this isn't even the lifetime I focused on. I remember because I wrote it all down, and I remember Tanys and I were talking about it, and I think we started focusing in on one of the Egyptian ones. Yeah. And so it originally. And so, you know, we don't necessarily know, but that was the first time I had access. And then from there, because of the way I've been given access, I think I go into the Akashics potentially differently than what I've heard other people do, where some people will go in through like a library or some kind of temple. I go in as if I'm watching a movie. And I go into the theater and I have a bit of a Rolodex that I just kind of scroll through and I go, click, I want that one. And it shows up. Nice. Me. And I get to have a glimpse of what that was. And then I go, okay, I'm done with that one. And it goes back into the, into the wheel. And then I scroll through and I can click on the next one and up it goes. And so it's a very different experience of accessing the Akashics than I think most people have. But I think that that's how I came to it because of the dream and the way that the dream unfolded. It's just how I learned to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So how about you guys?
Yeah, how do you access it, Lisa? Who's Linda? Who's Linda?
My alter ego.
I probably got something I got to cross over down here named Linda.
Well, so I like all the spiritual training that I did at the Ramtha school. That started opening up where sometimes, like the first date I had with my first husband, we spontaneously remembered a life together in the time of Scotland, in Scotland during the time of William Wallace. And we both had the exact, like it was at the same time, the same kind of scene that played out. And so that really triggered like, oh, okay, I can have these memories pop up. So I played with that a little bit. And then I got trained as a past life regression therapist, right? And all of us do that kind of regression work. That's what really opened it up, because when we're able to go deep into our subconscious mind, that's where all the answers lie. That's where all the lives lie. And so I do a lot of regressions, but then I love being regressed too, to get more information. And that's what we did. So like the three of us, we knew, okay, I'm a Luru and I knew I was a healer, but I wanted more information because we're potentially writing each of our pieces. Right? Yes. And so it was just curiosity, like, okay, I want to understand this dynamic between me and Vale Rin. I want to know the whole thing of like what I was doing on the outpost. And then, so with that, then, you guys did that regression with me, and I got those memories. But I've been able to experience myself as other, like you, Jen, of other, ET lives in different realms. And this whole deck comes from different aspects of myself as being these different higher dimensional ETs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's similar. It started as bits and pieces. So like my first was that seeing myself as with 3 blue fingers. That was the first ET sort of visual I ever had. And I knew it was me because I was like looking down at my hands. And that was just kind of spontaneous in a meditation. I think, when Jen and I started doing stuff, so Jen and I have so many past lives together. When we first started hanging out, we're like, okay, maybe we need to write a book about all these past lives. So she would take me into a past life regression, and then we'd have a joint memory come forward. I'd be saying what I'm seeing, and she's seeing her part, like from her perspective, her person. So like we had one in particular that was the Morgana Le Fay and the Lady of the Lake one, which was really impactful. Like we were both there. We both felt everything. She saw it from her perspective. I saw it from mine. And we compared notes when we came out, and we're like, oh my goodness, okay. And so we've had a number of those kinds of things happen. And this book was the same. We've had the same happen with things like the Egyptian life. We both have a couple of lifetimes there. And then we had one in Atlantis, and the Sirius B one, we were together in that. I don't have a lot of memories of that. That's one I wouldn't mind delving into a little bit more. But as we did some of that, I would get more information when I was in meditation. And so for me, that was kind of how it started. And then I've started being able to just kind of, it's kind of like your Rolodex, but the last couple of times I've done it, it's almost like, those old magazine holders that they had at the library where the book hangs over so it's almost been like that. So it's almost like there's a picture on the front of all of these. And I'm like, which lifetime? Okay, let's look at this one. And I open it up, and then all of it, I've got a visual around it. I've also done it with doors. That's how I often do my regressions with others, is through a hallway with doors, and you open a door and walk in, and you're walking into it. So it just depends on where they take me. I just ask them to show me, and they take me there in whichever way whoever it is showing me in their technique, I think. Because it depends. Yeah. So for me, that's more or less it.
But I love what you said, Lisa, around that whole, it's within us.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's why it's also so unique, because we all have it in a way that, maybe resonates for us, or
yeah. Exactly.
We have a furry friend.
We have a furry mascot today.
Yeah.
Say hello to Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Thank you. Great to see you. Yeah. Oh, and here's Nalani. Ramtha was where I first learned about my Arthurian connection.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, very cool. Yeah, the past life thing is pretty cool. I mean, we call it past life regression. We all know that it's concurrent, or
yeah, parallel. I put it on my website. It's past/parallel.
Yeah.
Just for the people who are like, if I just had a parallel regression, they'd be like, what is that? But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People think they know it as that because we have to think of things in a linear way. That's just how our brain makes sense of it here. So
yeah. But I think for all of us, and I know we've talked about it before on the show and between each other, that we feel like we've been stepping into those roles, and we've been asked to step into those roles more and more in this lifetime. And so you want to come in and say hi? Go ahead. You say hello. And so, it is very parallel, because that energy from that lifetime is being asked to be present in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And so we know that we've got both kind of happening at the same time. And it's very much parallel too. And when we look at what's happening in our world and those energies and what's going on and how we need to have the understanding, the knowledge, the healing, all of the stuff from that lifetime, and how powerful it's going to be having it here now.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about this before, like having that unique experience of actually having my human brain on, but sitting in a meeting as Teriel was like, what are you guys talking about? They're like, what do you mean? You're the holder of the information. I'm like, not in this brain. Wait, I got to change brains. Because I wasn't accessing the right section of my knowledge, I guess. So yes, it was quite funny. They were rolling their eyes at me. I mean, not really rolling, but it was that energy. Again. It was cute. What were you going to say, Lisa?
I don't remember. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm curious what Kathy's question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your input on parallel visits of yourself?
Do you understand what the question is?
If I'm interpreting it properly, yes, we've all had them. In the sense that, Lisa, you were talking about how Uluru came to you before you realized that it was you.
Yeah.
And there was that connection. And so I think that that's one example of a parallel visit of ourselves. I also have had experiences, especially in dreams, but sometimes in the waking world, but mostly in dreams where I'm in a very different life, where I'm seeing myself in a very different experience, but it's still evident that it's just different.
Yeah.
And so I've had those kinds of experiences as well. So I know that there are parallels of me out there, and that sometimes, we've had those connections. And I think that there is also that possibility, we talk about like step-ins and things like that.
Oh, like walk-ins. Walk-ins. Yeah.
And I think that sometimes that's just simply us switching. Right. And
that could be
a different version of ourselves.
Yeah. I know a couple of walk-ins, and what's interesting is they don't quite resonate that is just another aspect of themselves, whereas that's my perception of reality.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's some clarification on there. You, as many other reflections, visits you, very awakened state, eyes open, and they're communicating with you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But very much, Lisa, to what you were saying, it's like we're not, there's oneness. There's the whole of all. Mm-hmm. And we are all a part of that. And so there really is no division. And yet within that oneness, we've all decided that the oneness wants to experience a vastness of things. And so we've broken into all of these essences that can experience in different ways. But then each of these essences are multifaceted and have experienced everything in multiple different ways, and so on and so forth. And so it's like this jewel inside of a jewel inside of a jewel, if you will, that's constantly reflecting all of the different possible experiences that we could have. And yet we're not separate from any of them.
Yeah.
And yet we are, because that's how we're experiencing it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here we are. For example, I wrote a book in 3.5 hours because of the visitation of my parallel self told me what to type. Makes sense? Mm-hmm. Yes. That's kind of what Jen did, but hers came in pieces, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it came a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there, and so on and so forth.
What are our thoughts on this one? I wonder, when people say that everyone has a twin somewhere on the planet, is it maybe a parallel self? Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Also, I mean, just because we look alike doesn't mean that we're the same in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Right? I will walk into just about anywhere and have somebody at some point say, I know you. And go, cool. Right? So is it that they know me, or is it that they know the essence of me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oop. Could be that the you that went left instead of right. Mm-hmm. Could be. But that might be on a different timeline. But it could be.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about infinite realities.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Kathy says, for me, my parallel selves do not look like me. It's a vibration, but sometimes a glance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are coming to the end of our time.
We are.
That is wild.
It just flows. Just flies by.
Absolutely flies by.
Did you have a quote, Jen, or do we want to leave that for another time?
Sure.
Well,
I didn't want you to have to find your quote and then us just ignore it. So
I went okay, let's do one from an Arcturian, because and so this was from Raylis, who is an Arcturian sage, and it says, the galaxy remembers the roar of conflict, the clash of ideals, and the toll it took on the stars themselves. But it is not the war we must never forget. It is the healing that followed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that healing continues today.
Mm-hmm.
In all of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't me, by the way. That was somebody else saying it in my head. Mm-hmm. So, what have you got coming up, Lisa?
Well, I have a couple of things. One, I'm going to put it in our private chat so that then you can put it in the main chat, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I have just released, let me put the link in. Okay. So my book, Awakening to Your Multidimensional Self, I turned it into a 4-part series class. And I have it at a super discount. It's only like $47, and for like 4 hours and working you through activations and clearings and all of that. So that is available now, and it's you get instant access to it because they are pre-recorded. And then I'm going to put the other one. Mm-hmm. Then I also, because we're doing, Wisdom of the Galactics, the deck, and I have the book. Well, I also have the 14-part series that is also recorded.
Nice.
So that's that one. And then with that, if you use all capital save 300, that one's also only $47 for 14 massive, like, meditative journeys and channelings with the 13 different beings, the higher dimensional galactics. And so those are the two things I'm really excited about right now.
That's awesome.
And again, so save 300. And then I just finished my newest book, not the Uluru Vale Rin book, but the one about massively timeline shifting when my husband passed away, when he committed suicide, and how that put me fully on the trajectory of this Galactic Ambassador mission that I'm on. And so it goes through, the healing that I did and the processing, my understanding about, life after death, and there are different mediumship readings, and then how I've emerged 2 years later now. So that's at the publisher, getting edited.
Awesome. Awesome.
How about you guys?
Jen, what have you got coming up?
Great question. Well, I should also put in the link. I'll put in for the book. So if you haven't gotten it yet and you want to take a look at it, you can do that. I have it on for the Kindle version just for 99 cents until the end of this week, which is like soon. So, but yeah, so I've got that. And what else do I have coming up? We have support group tomorrow evening at 7:30. 7? I have it on my calendar. Hold on.
I have it here. 7:30. Yes.
Yes, 7:30. So if you were interested in doing that, you can join us. You just need to go to beyondbeinghuman.org/support-groups, and you will be able to register to join us for the support groups. They're free to join and they're open to anybody. And it's just having conversations about experiences like kind of what we talked about on here. We can look at, past life experiences and how they're impacting us today. We can take a look at just connections if you're experiencer and you want to talk about that with other people who understand. All of that is open forum to talk and support one another with the support groups. And then Monday before Twillo Talk, I'm on with Gerald, and we're doing another laugh and learn on human design. So that's what I have coming up.
Very good. Very good. So I'm on with Jen with the support groups, of course. And we do have Twillo Talk again, 5 o'clock on Monday. And the other thing that I have going on or coming up soon that might be of interest here is that we're going to be starting a new set or a new year of the Galactic Shaman program. So we have just graduated our first group of Galactic Shaman, and we'll be starting a year 2 with them. They've asked for another year, so we'll put that in. And we're going to start another cohort. So if you're interested in checking that out, please watch the website and watch on Facebook for events. I am going to do a free little session to know what a Galactic Shaman is. And that will be starting up in September, but we're gearing up to do that free session soon. And so keep an eye on Facebook for that. And we've had a great time learning all sorts of galactic healing modalities and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's what's coming up for me. I'm sure there's more. We're working on the school schedule for September, so that'll be along soon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, stay tuned. We've all got tons of stuff happening. It's lots of fun. Right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So final words, Lisa?
Just remember, all the answers are inside of you. So you can get them yourself, or you can come to people like us who can help you access those to start as well.
Thank you. Jen?
Just what's coming for right now is just to be very kind and compassionate with yourself, especially if you are opening to different aspects of who you are. And whatever is coming through, just hold it in love and gentleness.
Yeah. And let's try to love everybody. Doesn't matter what they look like, right? Human, non-human.
Yeah.
Different areas of the world.
Mm-hmm. We can just start with all the humans. That's still a great start.
It is. It is. So just lead with love.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And we'll take care. We'll see you next month. Galactic Gab. See you soon. Bye-bye.